Can you tell us, first of all, how much debt are we talking about and how much will this initiative help?
In late March, a series of African finance ministers had asked for 100 billion euros in debt relief. Macron proposed to the finance ministers of G20 44 billion. And what it appears they're going to give is 30 billion. 30 billion in debt relief. This will take different forms. They're going to freeze the debt. The debt still has to be paid. Macron would like them to annul the debt, forgive it, but this is more a freeze, a gel. And that would include possibly annulling the interest payments and arrears that would have accumulated because these countries couldn't afford to pay their debts. It was a wonderful gesture.
What's the current situation in Africa regarding the coronavirus? There seem to be relatively few cases. Is that a true picture of what's going on?
No, it's the absence of testing. Many of the countries got on the coronavirus curve later because they were less integrated. African elites who traveled throughout the world have been coming down with it. They were high at risk. But by all estimations, this coronavirus wave is going to sweep over Africa. And so those countries need to put their resources into protecting their people and to cap this another epidemic. It was a wonderful jest by Emmanuel Macron if we look at this through the lens of idealism, but it's also a very practical gesture for France as well, because these African countries have indebted themselves up to 95% of their GDP. Over the last 10 years, they went from 30% to 95%, and 40%, almost half of all that debt was with China. And so what the G20 is doing is forgiving Chinese debt and creating solvency in these African countries to pay their bills, including to French businesses. So it's both a moral, humanitarian gesture, but it's also very good politics, a win-win situation for France.
Of course, Europe is particularly hard hit by the coronavirus right now, and a lot of migrants from Africa send money back there from Europe. How's that having an effect on the African continent?
Well, those remittance wages often represent what an entire family of 7 or 8 people will be living on. Unfortunately, most of the Africans are in those sectors of the economy that are hardest hit. So a great number of those dependents on remittance wages are suffering as a result of the shutdowns, one by one, of European countries.